Yo, welcome back, guys. Today we are doing cyberCrafted. This is a really fun Minecraft server that we have to hack into and get root, and it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's really fun. This is the weekly CTF we did in the Discord this week, so if you missed the live stream on the Discord, this is the first thing we do in the live stream every week, is we do the weekly CTF. This week we're doing a Active Directory, so pretty stoked about that. Let's go ahead and hop into it. If you guys like this content, you got to hit that like button. You got to hit that sub button. It's the only way I really know what you guys like and what you guys want to see more of, unless you comment and say directly, or you join the Discord and put in the video requests what you want. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Also, check out the Patreon, check out the merch in the link below. The merch will be gone as of next month. So we are doing a one-time drop for this merch, and that's it. So let's go ahead and hop into it. All right. So first things first, we're going to do an in-map scan. Now, you will see here the basic in-map scan shows port 22 and then port 80. You can actually, if you know it's a Minecraft server, obviously we know that. I'm not going to sit here and make you guys sit through the Minecraft port. But if you wanted to, you could do port, and you could do a range. So you could do like 20,000 to 30,000. Because I know that port is it's like 25,556, something like that. But the Minecraft server ports are pretty high up there, I believe. So if you want to find that one specifically, you can. I didn't do it because this box, the attack box, was taking forever to run the in-map scan. And by forever, I mean like we're talking like 30-40 minutes. So I'm not going to sit here for 30-40 minutes while it scans every port. It's just taking forever. So I wanted to just show you guys, this is the basic in-map scan. Port 22 is open, port 80 is open. So then we go to port 80, and when you guys go here, you'll probably get, when you type in the IP address up here, it'll redirect you to cybercrafted.thm. Well, when it does that, you're going to get nothing. It's going to say error. It didn't know what to do. It couldn't resolve the host. You need to go into your Etsy host file. That's what this is. Your Etsy host file, and you need to add the IP and the cybercrafted.thm. That lets your DNS know when you go to cybercrafted.thm, go to this website. So when it redirects you, it still knows where to go. So now we're here. We're on cybercrafted.thm. I don't see a whole lot, but first thing, I didn't even know you could scroll down. First thing we need to do, and we will actually go ahead and look at the inspect, and we'll look at the code, right? First thing we see is a note to the developer. Just finished up adding other subdomains. Now you can work on them. Okay, so they give you a hint right off the bat. We just got done adding other subdomains. Let's find other subdomains. So how do we do that, right? Well, we can use a lot of tools, but we're going to use GoBuster here. So we're going to go ahead and go to here and type in GoBuster, and I've got the command right here. So we've got the command GoBuster, right? And then one thing I'm going to do before we start this is go to GoBuster just so you guys see the help menu. And we're going to see this virtual host. This virtual host brute forcing mode, this lets you use a word list to find virtual hosts. So for instance, you could have on cybercrafted.thm, you could have minecraft.cybercrafted.thm. That's one application that you have to access. You could have admin.cybercrafted.thm, which we have here, but you'll see there's a lot of virtual hosts here that you can find using this subdomain. Now, you can see right here, it says uses DNS subdomain brute forcing mode. We could use that as well, but the virtual host is what you're looking for. You're not looking for directory traversal like GoBuster does, but we can do that later. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop in and we're going to say, hey, GoBuster, we want to use virtual host mode. We want to use the URL cybercrafted.thm, and the word list we're going to use here is user share word list, seclists, discovery, DNS, and then you can see Shub's subdomain. So it's a subdomain list, right? So we hit enter, let it run. And while we're doing this, you can see it's going to give you the percentage and all that. But we have store and admin, and then we have all these other ones, right? So these other ones, what we can do, I wanted to show you that so that we can do this one. If you want to get rid of those, you can say grep for status 200. Grep for only things that come back correct. And you can see now we have admin, www.admin, because all the other ones are getting 400 errors, which means that they don't exist or you don't have access to them, right? So we're going to let that go, and we're going to look at the admin, right? Because we knew we had admin, we had store. We found those before we stopped it. So let's go ahead and go here and say admin.cyberCrafted. Okay, well, it didn't find that one. Let's look at it again. Admin.cyberCrafted. Okay, there's a www admin. Let's try that one. Maybe we have to type www. Nope, that didn't work either. Okay. Whoops. So let's do admin.cyberCrafted. Okay, so we're still getting this error. What does that mean, right? It's telling us something's not right. Well, all it is we need to add these to the actual Etsy host file again. Why do we have to do this? Because it doesn't know what those are. It doesn't know where you're going with it. So all we gotta do is add the admin.cyberCrafted. And then we do, we do a space, we do a couple spaces, and then we copy this here. And while we're here, we might as well go ahead and add the store as well. So we know that store.cyberCrafted is one because we saw it on the first scan or on the first GoBuster. So now we need to save it. So now when we go to admin, it knows what IP to go to. Boom. Okay. So now we're actually getting somewhere. Now we know that we have a username and a login, but what does that mean, right? So what can we find? What can we do? All right. So first thing, the username login. Here we could try a couple things. We could try and check out default admin credentials, all that stuff. The reason I'm not going to do that here is because I don't want to waste your guys' time. That's not what we need to do. We need to go to the store, right? And we know the store exists because, like I said, we saw it on the first. Okay, and it says forbidden. Okay, interesting. So we don't have permission. So that's interesting. What can we do here? Well, I can tell you what we can do is, even though we don't have permission, we might be able to figure out what we do have permission for, right? So what we could do, if we minimize this, let's go back here and make sure we didn't find anything else. So you notice the status code 200 didn't find the store. That's not necessarily that big of a deal because we found it on the first one. You can go through them and look at it the first one. That's no big deal if you want to. But we saw it on the first one, so we don't have to really worry too much about it. So now all we need to do, let's go back to the admin page. Boop. Okay, so we're on the admin page. And then, oh wait, sorry guys, I forgot that there's questions. This one has a lot of questions, so I forgot. How many ports are open? There were 3. There were the port 80, port 22, and then the Minecraft server port, service port. What service is running on the highest port? It's the Minecraft server. And then any subdomains, admin, store, and www. Now, a lot of you may say, what's going on with the www thing? What that is pretty simple. The www is counting itself as a different subdomain. So keep that in mind that it is a different subdomain. So let's go ahead and look at it now. And so now we go here and we know it's not there. I think it's under store. Now, I will tell you how we found this here in a sec. Okay, so you can see we couldn't access the store, but we can access the search.php function. So how would we find that? Now, I'm not going to make you guys sit through because a lot of this box is scans and tools running. I don't want to make you sit through it. But you can run GoBuster and you can run it on the store.cyberCrafted and use a word list and it will find search. Now, the only way it will find it, I'll let you know, is if you tell it to actually use or look for PHP files because this is not a directory or another page that's an HTML file. It's going to look for PHP files. So if you want to know how I found it, I just ran GoBuster just like normal. So we'll look at it, GoBuster, and then you can see we did the URL again. We did dir for directory file brute forcing mode. We did a word list, and the word list we did was pretty much the same thing, except for the word list we used was the user share word list derb. So we did user share word lists derb and then common.txt. That's the one I used. It finds it just fine. And then if you don't find it, like I said, you may have to specify that you're looking for PHP, not for regular search. So now we found the search.php function. It's pretty simple. You could do this. Now I will tell you, on a real pen test and in real life, I would do this on every single directory that we found or every single subdomain that we found. So we found all the store, admin, and cyberCrafted. There we go. That drives me nuts. Anyway, so we found all these. I would try GoBuster or Dirbuster on every single one of these and try and find out what directories we can access. I will tell you, the only reason I show you guys, I go straight to it, is because I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch just looking at pulling strings, basically. So that's why we did that. So now, here's the fun part, right? So let's go ahead and open up, and you can do this with pretty much any tool. You don't have to use this one, but I'm going to use Burp Suite if we can find it. I don't know where it's at on here. Okay, there we go. So we'll open up Burp Suite, and I'll show you why. So first thing we want to do is we want to figure out what can we do here, right? So while Burp Suite's loading, there we go. Okay, so what can we do here, right? Well, there's a couple of things we can do. First thing we can search for is, does this someone in the Discord actually said, just search for sword. And I said, oh, wow, how did you know those were in there? And they said, well, it's common Minecraft stuff. So I said, oh, for some reason, when my mind gets going like hacking, I've totally forgot that it's a Minecraft server. Obviously, we can search for sword. So we can use sword to test because we know what the results are. So we can say sword, okay, and then we can say whatever we want, right? We can try and start doing actual SQL injection is what we would try, or at least that's what I would try at first, right? So the first thing you do is you just say sword, and then from there we know what the results are going to be. It's going to be this. So if we get something different, we probably got a SQL injection. So then we want to put a apostrophe there. The reason you do that is to close the SQL command, because you want to say this is what we want, right? And then we say or 1 equals 1. This is a very old school, pretty, I would be surprised if this works on most anymore. And we say, hey, we put a comment after, and the comment just simply is saying, hey, don't listen to the rest of the command, right? Like once you get to this, sword or 1 equals 1, that's it. Stop the command. So we hit enter, and look at that. We get all the results. So that tells us the SQL injection is possible. Now, in a pen test, I wouldn't go further than this yet. I would reach out to the customer, say, hey, look, we have a SQL injection. I don't know what's in this database. I don't want to be liable for grabbing a bunch of credit cards or a bunch of social security numbers and stuff like that. So I would stop here and say, hey, just so you know, we found this. Do you want us to keep going? What do you want, right? So we have this. So now what we can do is, let's refresh this to get to a blank page. Maybe. Okay, let's search for nothing. Okay, there we go. I just want to get to the main page. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so now we're here, and we're going to turn on our Burp Suite proxy. Now, excuse me, we should have Burp Suite open now. And what we're going to do is we're going to capture the request. Now, the reason we're going to capture the request is we're going to save it, and we're going to send that to our tool, SQL Map. And SQL Map will use that. So don't restart right now. Okay, so now we'll say proxy, intercept is on. So we should be able to, we're sending everything to it. We should be able to hit enter. There you go. So we forward it there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to search for something. Sword. Now that's going to stop. And then here's your proxy, right? So now it's a post request. So now we're going to copy this whole thing. We're going to go to Sublime, File, New File. We're going to paste it in there. You can do this however you want, but I'm going to say now save this, save as. And I always just put it in like my downloads or something I don't really care about. And we'll say, whoops. And we'll name it requests.rst for request. Save. Okay, so now we have that saved, right? So it's not that big of a deal, but we have it saved, and that's nice. That helps us out a lot because now we can just use our direct SQL injection. Okay, so there's a couple of ways we could do this. We could sit here if we wanted to and actually manipulate this SQL injection over and over and over. We could do that, but I don't want to because that's going to take a lot of time. So let's not do that, right? Let's save some time. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, pull this up, SQL map, and we're going to run it with nothing so you can see the help command and all that. Okay, there wasn't a whole lot there. You just see that you get some mandatory options. So we'll say SQL map. Okay, and then we obviously need to tell it where we're doing this at. So now we're going to say store.cybercrafted.thm/search.php. Okay, so we have the initial, excuse me. All right, we have the initial one. Sorry guys, I'm getting a call. All right, I was getting a call. So we have the initial store, right? Now, it will usually, if you look up wherever it was, it'll ask us for, let me see here. I have the SQL map help menu over here, but I'm looking for the parameter to put a the request in for us. We don't want to, we have the URL, but we don't want to actually do this. We want SQL map to do this for us. All right. Okay, so let's see. So it looks like all right. Looks like we'll just do this. We'll go back. SQL map tac H for the help to get the, because we just need to know, I think it's tac R, but I don't want to put it in wrong and then waste a bunch of time. Yeah, the URL, random agent, tor, check tor, test parameters. Here we go. Okay, I don't see the, oh, there we go, tac HH for full set of options. Okay, so we just need to know which one we can give it the, or which we can give it the request. That's Windows Registry, operating system, file system, user, okay. And the reason we have to give it a request is because if you just give it the site, it's going to say, I don't know where you're trying to get me to put the SQL injection. It doesn't know. Now you could do it. You could put the actual requests in yourself. There it is. It is tac R. I thought it was, but I don't know why I wasn't comfortable doing it. So we'll say SQL map tac R, and it's in downloads. Apparently it's in downloads. And then request, name it request.rst, okay, and we'll hit enter. It'll do that request for us. It'll find it for us. Do you want to skip payloads specific to other databases? Yes, I don't want to sit here while it does it. For the range, do you want to include all tests for MySQL extending providing level 1 risk? Yeah. Okay, so it's going to try and do a bunch of attacks, right? SQL map is. What it does is it's doing all these SQL database attacks for us to say, hey, is this... basically, is this going to work? When it comes back, it'll say it is, or it does, right? And when it does, we can now start to take advantage of it. So we can see, I don't know how long this is going to take because this machine is not very good. And you can see now it's doing a time-based attack. If you've never done SQL time-based attacks, obviously they have to time them, so it takes time. But you can actually do this without, but what we needed is we need the search and the submit. That's what we needed for SQL map to understand. Okay, post parameter search is vulnerable. Do you want to keep testing others? No, we don't need to because it found it for us. So now we're going to use the same request, but now we're going to say, hey, okay, we got the request and we know it's vulnerable. So give us, and we want to say, give us the databases, right? So what we need is we need the databases. So first, you could do this. I'm going to do dump. Now, the reason is SQL map maps out the database, right? So you're going to get a ton of stuff here. But this saves you the time. Okay, and you can see, do you want to store hashes to a temporary file? So it already found the hashes. So we'll store them. looks like here is right here. I'm not going to crack them using SQL map because it would take a long time. But you can see it found a lot of stuff. It's finding the whole database here. And then here it found the hash, but here's the web flag. So make sure you look at it. Don't just take the hash that like I showed. So here's the web flag. So now we go over here, put the web flag in there. Perfect. Now we have to take this ultimate creeper, and you can see we have a hash here. So I already took the hash that was saved, so I know where it's at. Okay, so we've got the hash now. So now we just have to actually convert it, right? So now we say, hey, if we can get to it. All right. So now we need to crack this hash. We've got the hash. That's easy enough, right? We got the hash. Now what? Well, first things first, I'll just tell you the best. Well, first, let's turn this off because we'll sit here all day. The best hash cracker in the world is Google. I'll tell you that right now. So we're just going to use CrackStation because I always check here. A lot of times it's not, it's not great, right? Like a lot of people will say, well, that's, you know, those are only like really basic passwords. Correct. But why would I spend an hour while it's loading if it's in here, right? If it's in here, I can just do this and we'll find out together real fast. So we say, hey, I'm not a robot. All these have crosswalks. Hopefully that's accurate because sometimes, yep, there we go, bicycles. And then traffic lights. And bicycles. Okay, so we're not getting them all. Jeez. Okay, it took like 6 times. I don't know why I did that. Okay, and you can see the password is diamond123456789. Perfect. So we've got it. So now we have a username. Minimize. So now we have a username and we have the web flag. So we have the username, which is right here, XX Ultimate Creeper, and his password is diamond123456789. Right? So okay, that's pretty crazy, right? Pretty easy. So now we, if you remember, we can go back. If you remember, we had a login page. Let's see if we can use it. Admin. If you remember the admin page, when you go to it, it's a login page. Okay. Login. Well, let's try the XX. Crap. I always do this. I always forget his. XX Ultimate Creeper. XX. Okay. I don't know if that's the name I would be using, but hey, good for them. So we sign in, never save. Wow, this is pretty nice. Runs system commands. So right off the bat, we can run system commands. Now, this may seem crazy, but from a Minecraft perspective, you may need to run commands. So let's just try ls or something and just see if it pops up. Okay, it sure does. Okay, so that's very nice. We can actually just run system commands now. So now all we got to do is go here and say netcat lvnp 1234. You can do whatever you want, but we set up a listener. So we got the listener set up. Now, this may be a little biased, but I have my notes that are available to the Patreon users, and those are the notes that have my reverse shells in them. So I'm going to use the reverse shells that I have in the in here, and I'm just going to use this basic one that's been around forever. So I copy it, and you can see here's my notes. You can see that I'm getting it from there. I don't want you guys thinking that I'm making that up. And then all I gotta do is change the IP and the port. So the IP is 10.10.171.22. So we say 10.10.171.22, and the port was 1234. And we hit enter, and it should hang up like it is. And now when we look at listener, we have a root, or not a root, I'm sorry, we have a shell. Okay, so right off the bat, we have a shell. That's pretty impressive, right? We say, who am I? And we should be www data. So we've pivoted. We were Ultimate Creeper. Now we're www data. So let's see if there's another question we need. Can you get the Minecraft server flag? Okay. So we've got the Minecraft, or we're on the Minecraft server. So now we just have to go and actually find the Minecraft server flag. So we could sit here and search for it. You can just do the find command. I'm not going to do that. And the reason I'm not going to do that is because it's going to take forever. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to cd opt. This is just where it is. I'm just telling you where it is, so that way you can go in there. cd Minecraft. If you want to actually find it, you can do the find command. Okay, did I miss something? Is this not a, let me see, is this not a CD Minecraft? Am I missing something here? Can't CD to Minecraft. Okay, cat Minecraft. Is it a permission denied? Okay, interesting. So we can't get into it. So let's see. What if we, I wonder if we can just cat the file itself. Minecraft, and then Minecraft, and then server, and then flag.txt. Okay, so permission denied, we can't access it. Okay, now how would we know that? We could easily just search for it. So, okay. So how do we get the flag? That's what we need, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get this flag. Okay, so we've moved laterally, we've pivoted, so now we're www whatever data. So now we got the web flag, we need the Minecraft server flag. We know where it's at because if we find it, or if we search for it, we get it. But the problem is we can't get to it. So let's go to the home directory and see what users we have. Okay, so we have cyberCrafted and Ultimate Creeper. Those are the only two, but we're not logged in as Ultimate Creeper right now. But we do have, right here, we can run commands as Ultimate Creeper, so we can kind of be logged in as him. So I'd say it's safe to say we need to get to cyberCrafted. That's probably pretty safe. So let's see if we can actually get into cyberCrafted. Can't CD to cyberCrafted. Okay, interesting. Let's see what else we can do then if we can't get in there. All right. So we can't get in there, which is unfortunate. Let's look at the permissions then and just see if we can. Okay, Ultimate Creeper, so we can read, execute, read. Okay, so cyberCrafted we can't get into, but Ultimate Creeper we might be able to get into. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Well, let's go to CD and we'll go into Ultimate Creeper. I hate that you can't tab. I keep like stopping myself from tabbing. So we CD into Ultimate Creeper. There's nothing there, so we do ls-tech LA, and oh, there we go. So it looks like we have a hidden SSH file, so let's see if we can actually get the key. Ooh, okay. So let's just cat the ID RSA key. Okay, easy enough. So this should mean we can just hop right in, right? We've got the RSA key. So we just say, let's save this bad boy. Paste it. File save. But I can tell you already there's something weird with this one. You can see it. RSA dot. We'll just say RSA. It doesn't really matter. So we'll actually just name it the same so that we don't mess with it. RSA. And then we'll say save. Okay. So now that we got that pulled up, should be good. Okay. Well, now we could try to just log in using it. But like I said, you can tell something's wrong with it because if you, let's go to this tab. CD downloads cat ID RSA. You can see something's wrong with it because right here it says it's encrypted. Okay, so it's encrypted. That sucks, but that's why they made SSH to John. If you don't know what SSH to John is, it's a pretty easy tool. It takes SSH keys and allows us to crack into them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to say, hey, and we can see this if we go SSH and we just say SSH, and we're going to use the ID RSA to go in, and we'll say XX ultimate creeper XX at 10.10.190.37, and we hit enter. It'll say, do you want a fingerprint? Yes. Okay, so you can see the private key will be ignored. Load ID RSA bad permissions. Okay, so we got bad permissions. We probably have too many permissions for it. So let's look. Yeah, it looks like we've got too many permissions. So we'll say change mod 064 or 0600. See if that works. I guess you got to put an actual ID RSA. Okay, now let's try it again. Okay, enter passphrase for key. Oof. Okay, now it's asking for a password. So we can't use it because it needs a passphrase for the key. That sucks. That's weird. Okay. So now we use SSH to John. So we say, and this is on the attack box, it's opt John SSH to John. And then we say ID RSA. And what do we want to name it? We'll just name it hash. It doesn't really matter what you name it. Okay, now it creates a hash. So now we say cat the hash. Now we have an actual hash that we can crack. So now we say John, right? Because we have the one that we need to crack. So now all we got to do is load it in, say John, and then we'll just use the wordless rocku because every CTF ever has used rocku for some reason. User share wordless rocku dot text. Okay, and then we'll just say, hey, hash, right? That's what we want. Hit enter, let it run. It's going to crack the hash and give us the password. Hopefully, it cracks the hash and gives us the password. Let's see. Okay, there it is. Creepin 2006. Creepin. Okay, we can go ahead and stop it. Now when we go to log in with SSH, it's going to ask for that password phrase. We say Creepin 2006. He is the ultimate creeper, supposedly. Okay, we're in. Look at that. So now we are ultimate creeper. So we say, okay, cool. Now that we're in the ultimate creeper, can we find that flag? So we say find, and then we want type for file. We want a file type. And then we want to say flag. Now we don't know if it's a .txt, but I would assume it's flag.txt. We'll take a look. Okay, well, it didn't find anything. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Okay, well, it didn't find anything, so that's cool. So what we can do instead of that is we can say, okay, well, what groups are we a part of? Okay, we're a part of Minecraft. That makes sense. Math checks out there. So now we're going to say find type. We want flag, right? And then we want to say group Minecraft. Now, why are we doing this? What this is going to do is say this is the flag that group has, right? That group has access to and made. So what we can do is we can say, well, probably good guess that whatever flag we're supposed to get from this guy, his group is the one that made it or created it or accessed it or whatever, has permissions for it. So what we can do is we can look. Now we can also just go to his home directory and some of the other places and look to see if you've ever done a Minecraft server, if you ever built one or kind of messed around with one, you're probably familiar with the Minecraft server layout. And I was going to say most everything's in opt Minecraft. That's pretty standard. So if you're familiar with Minecraft server, you could probably just go there and find it. But you can see right there, okay, Minecraft server flag. That's probably a good place to start, right? So we'll cd to opt Minecraft ls cat the Minecraft server flag. Interesting, there it is. So now we go here, put it right there. Can you get the Minecraft server flag? We just did. Okay. So now that's easy. But we notice there's a note.txt there. So we say cat note.txt. anytime there's, I'll tell you this, anytime in a CTF there's a note in the directory that the flag was in, probably read the note, right? So it says just implemented a new plugin within the server. So now non-premium Minecraft accounts can game 2. PS will remove the whitelist soon. So right away, pretty obvious what we got to do, right? We got to find this plugin that they're talking about. So, okay, cool. So now we say ls. Well, there's only 2 other directories. One of them is cyberCrafted, so let's go into that. ls. Okay, looks like we have a plugins here, so I think we can pretty safely assume that's where we need to go since the note told us there. Login system, okay, cd login system. The other one's a jar file. Okay, so we've got a couple config files, but we also have a log.txt file. Okay, looks like it shows us logging in. That's cool. Let's see. Started, cyberCrafted register, login system. Oh, interesting. Madrink logged in with password 123. CyberCrafted logged in with Java Edition is better than Bedrock. So there's his password. So right off the bat, pretty easy to safely assume that we have his password, right? So from here, we don't really have to do a whole lot. We can just literally say, I don't know why this is all messed up. There we go. Okay, so here we can just say switch user, right? And we're going to switch user to cyberCrafted. And his password is Java Edition is better than Bedrock. Okay, so now we're cyberCrafted. So that was pretty easy, right? Like that wasn't hard at all. So now we're cyberCrafted. So let's say, who am I? Which we're cyberCrafted, right? So now we just go and let's see if there's another answer for him. Okay, what is the name of the sketchy plugin? Login system. So now let's go to the cyberCrafted's home directory. Yep, there's a user.txt. There's the flag for user flag. So now we just need the root flag and we're done. So this is pretty easy, right? We just say sudo tech l password. Hopefully it saved it. Oh, it did. Sweet. Okay, so you can see we can run user bin screen tac r crafted. Okay, that's interesting because screen, if you know, it's kind of like Terminator, Termux. It allows you to have multiple terminals going at once. So let's go to, since this is a tac l, let's just go to GTFO bins and see if screen is on there. Okay, screen. It is on there, so let's click. Okay, so we can do, so if we run sudo screen, it runs as sudo, is what it's telling us, which is perfect because that's what we can do. We can run sudo screen. So now screen, let's look at screen help doc, I guess. Screen user manual. Oh, interesting. Look right off the bat. Screen user manual, new window. Screen command. Okay, screen command. Where'd the new window go? New window, here we go. Okay. When a new window is created, the first available number is assigned to it. Yeah, okay. Create a new window. Screen command. Let's see if we can find it here. So this is telling us how to do it from there, but there's a shortcut. Should be a shortcut. So let's go screen new window shortcut. So you can see right there, Control AC creates a new window. So think about it like a hacker, right? Control AC. So if we run this screen, we run this exact command that they're telling us we can run, which is sudo user bin screen tac r cyberCrafted. We can run this. Okay, we've got a new shell here, but it's running as root. If we say, who am I? Okay, so it doesn't know how to do that, but we're using screen. So we can click Control AC, and now we're in a new shell. So now we say, who am I? Root, cd root. Now we say, well, ls cat root.txt. there's the root flag. And then you put it in the thing and you're done. Now, some people might say that doesn't make any sense. How does that work? But if you look, screen, whoops, I put screen, how to switch between windows. Okay, so you can see here is screen, that's Windows, not. So Control A in and Control A P will take us back and forth. So this is for servers that don't have a GUI. We can have multiple terminal windows open now. So we say Control A P and Control A in. So Control A in, and of course I open that up. Control A P. Look at that. We are back to the old one, the old screen one. So we can flip back and forth. So we say Control A in. It's going to keep opening it. Control A P. It's going to take us back and forth. You can see it's taking us back and forth to the different shells. So screen, by default, is a good application. But when you use it negatively, it gave us root access because they were allowed to use it as root. Because maybe the shell that they were in before where they could run Minecraft commands needed root access. So hopefully that makes sense. This is a long box, guys. I was trying to get it down to short as possible. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the comments. I kind of skipped some of the enumeration steps because I didn't want you guys to have to sit there because these do take a while. So if you have questions about that, hop in the Discord, throw a screenshot, and I will definitely answer them for you guys. Hopefully you guys like this, and hopefully you guys have a great day. Thanks.